Hey, we have a great show lined up for you guys tonight. Mr. Brad Smith from the voice of Morgantown will be here. Everybody, buckle up your seatbelts. You know him, you either love him, or you just dislike him, or just don't agree with him.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? My strife, my right to fight, to die on. And this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it in this life, whatever makes me happy, know I'm doing things right. Sipping in the summer on a goose and Sprite, or find a nightclub for the end of the night, And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe we can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
What you going to be, WVU, this week? Kansas coming into the house. What you going to be? That's what I like to know. Hey, everyone. I'm Joey Foster. Welcome into the Voice of College Football, West Virginia style. I've got Mr. Shane with me tonight. Mr. Shane, what's going on, brother?
Not much. I just bought 3 more tickets. 5 of us are going to see the Mountaineers on Saturday. So, guys, it's going to be a great matchup, and I don't think the talking heads know what the hell they're talking about, because they're picking Kansas to win, and I think that's baloney, but we'll get to that later.
Well, we do have a great guest with us tonight. He's sitting in the back room with us right now. I'm really looking forward to him coming in here. Listen, I think everybody reads his stuff. The voice of Morgantown, Mr. Brad Smith. Hey, Brad, what's going on, my friend? Nice to have you.
Joey, how you doing, Joey? I'm doing well.
Doing good.
Hey, Shane, how you doing, man? I've never met you, Shane, but nice to meet
Brad,
you.
I'm a big fan. I'm kind of I like Joey was mentioned you, and I'm like, I didn't put 2 and 2 together, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's a celebrity. I'm so excited to have you on our show.
I'm a huge celebrity, Shane. I'm probably the biggest guest you guys have ever had or ever will have.
Yeah, I hear you, Brad. I tell you what, you'll probably be the most controversial, right?
For sure.
You're either going to agree and just think you're King Creole. We're either going to agree with you and you're King Creole, or we're going to totally disagree with you and send your ass packing, right? I mean, Brad's been a great friend of mine for a lot of years, and I'm so glad he come on the show with us tonight. Looking so forward to this, and I talk about that because I know Brad's always he's really big on media. He can't stand the media, the West Virginia media. Uh,
The
and
skills.
and I don't know if he considers me like West Virginia media or not. I hope not. But we he's got this thing about West Virginia media not giving you the truth, and he's just trying to give you the truth. He says, "Am I right with that, Brad?"
Yeah, and before I go into that, Joey, I just want to say that there's only been a couple of people that I've really liked or really thought that were real good, genuine people in the West Virginia media or in the West Virginia alternative media, and that's you and the late great Golden Blue dude who I miss and think about often.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how often but every once in a while I'm like watching a game and I'm like, or seeing what's going on. I'm like, man, I wonder what Golden Blue dude would be
Yeah.
thinking right now because he was so passionate about the Mountaineers.
Well, he would have
Yeah.
had a he would have had a Clowntonier on last week.
Oh,
He
he would
would
have
have
had
had a
shit fit.
Clowntonier on for sure then.
Yeah,
He would have went nuts. Like this would have
yeah.
been classic Chris, man. This past week would have been fantastic.
Good dude. Anyway, so what you were asking, yeah, so I don't know how anybody respects or listens to the West Virginia media or takes them seriously at all at this point. They're going in and asking the same questions, not holding Neil Brown accountable, and it is to me pathetic and disgusting. If you would have listened to the questions that they asked after the Pitt game, I mean, you would have thought they just won the game. And
Right.
it's crazy to me that they refuse to hold Neil Brown or any of the coaches accountable. I think a big part of it is there's a guy who is the director of media or whatever he is, communications, I think, at West Virginia, Mike Montoro. This guy's a real weasel. And if you say anything negative to the coaches, he's going to take away your credentials. And these guys, this is what they do for a living. And so it's unfortunate that I feel like the media is a big part of the reason why we are where we're at as a football program because
Yeah.
nobody gets held accountable.
Well, I think, and here's my honest opinion. I think in a lot of them's case, they just don't want to be negative on the program.
Hmm.
They don't want to shine the spotlight on negativity for the program and around the program because look, we built our program by being tough, right? And so we
Hmm.
just got to look at it as next game up. Let's move on. Let's not harp on what's going on. You just got to get better. I think that might be the mindset of a little bit of the media too. Just
Yeah, and Neil Brown keeps saying the same stuff every time too. And he says, we just got to get better. We just got to get better. We just got to get better. We're gonna get better next week. We're gonna keep working and getting better. Well, it's been 6 years and we're not better. And I know you, Joey, and I'm sure Shane is the same way. West Virginia football is a very big deal to a lot of people in the state,
Yeah.
and this is a big part of my life. I'm 45 now. This is something I've loved for over 40 years now, and I'm not okay with us being as bad as we are now, and frankly, I don't know how anybody is.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Shane,
tough
go ahead. You have
it's tough when they've been as successful within a generation. So 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, they were at the top of the hill, the precipice of college football. I mean, every week they were on. Everybody's every media source was talking about them. But the thing of it is, Rich Rod at that time was held accountable when there was a bad game. I remember the Cincy game. They smeared them. Now that was before they went on their tear. I think that was 2003 or four. But they gave Dana Holgerson a hard time the first couple of years here and there. I don't understand what changed, and it might be that the gentleman in charge of the media. But I agree. It's all sunshine and rainbows and blowing smoke up each other's butt.
well, I think it's no hidden secret that I'm not a fan of Dana Holgerson in any way. I couldn't. I thought he was the worst coach in the history of West Virginia. I still think at the day, even after Neil Brown being here, honestly, Neil Brown could lose the rest of the year. I still think Dana Holgerson is the worst thing that happened to West Virginia. So and that's where I stand on that. But Neil Brown needs to turn things around. He's got to get things together. I think Bill Brown's a fantastic coach Sunday through Friday, and then it's like game day, and he can't figure it out. It's like bad coaching all the way around. You know, you shouldn't lose a game ahead by 10 with 3 minutes to go, and you change everything. He changed his offense, he changed his defense, he changed everything. Brad, did you did you agree with what I'm saying there? That he changed everything up, and he's a good coach through the week. It's just Saturdays.
He finds ways to lose. I think he plays to not lose and to win, or I'm sorry, not to win, but to not lose. And I think his team reflects that. I think they play scared in critical times, and I think it's hard, Joey, to say that he's a good coach during the week. I don't know. I mean, the only thing that matters is what happens on Saturdays. So, you know,
Right.
I don't know that we can say that he's a good coach. I certainly
Well,
don't
I
think
know
so.
I'm talking about like the culture at West Virginia. It seems to be solid. It seems to be strong. They seem to be together as a team, as one. Everything looks good on that front.
Hmm.
And I think that's a big part of coaching is that culture that you set. And I think he's got a really good culture at West Virginia. I just don't know that he has the talent that he thinks he has around him. I don't know what you know. It seems like to me, we've got a talented team in our eyes, but we're getting out there against teams like Pitt. And look, they came back and beat us, and it was a close game pretty much throughout. And I felt like if this team is as good as I think they could be or think they should be, Pitt shouldn't even be close in this game. And
That's
I
fair.
think that's the team that I thought we had, and we don't have that. So you might be right. There's not even any coaching through the week right now.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't lose to that Pitt team. That is not a good Pitt team. I think we'll see as the season progresses that they're not a very talented team. And you know, again, up 10 with 4:55 left is not a game that you know, I think at one point we were 98%, 98.9% probability to win the game. And you know, I don't know how you guys felt, but at the time I was like, I'm not super confident that we're going to win this, even up 10 with 5 minutes left. So I think that's
I
kind of what,
was. I was
yeah.
Brad. I was getting ready to go mow grass because I was like, warm up the bus.
Hmm.
See ya next year. And and in my mind, I'm like, I'm talking smack just like I did in the Houston game, and then I'm
Hmm.
blaming myself. I'm like, I did this, you know. But no, there's no way in heck they should have lost that. And I don't know how you have second and 30, and you can call yourself a Division 1 college football player or defensive coordinator or head coach for that matter, and allow that. You,
Hmm.
you know, and it wasn't like I don't know. I get so spun up and upset I just can't even talk.
Mm.
Yeah, and I mean our defense is ranked 102nd out of 134 teams right now in the nation. I mean, that just shouldn't be happening at West Virginia.
So
That's not a.
well, that brings me to my next question for you, then, Brad. Because let's touch on all that. So
Mhm.
last week, some people were saying we need to fire Jordan Leslie. Jordan Leslie should be fired right now. And I started thinking, well, that leaves our defensive backs coach as the defensive coordinator. So
Well,
what I
yeah.
mean, come on, what are you going to do here? So and plus on top of that, look, Neil Brown's back on the hot seat, whether we like it or not. There's no defensive coordinator going to come to West Virginia right now. They'd be
Hmm.
silly, they're not going to come in. So you're kind of stuck with what you've got right now. But that's what I'm going to ask you about, Brad. Let's say we lose to Kansas during the bye week. Should Win Baker just make a complete coaching change and just get rid of everybody and maybe bring somebody in as an interim coach, just like we did on basketball or something?
Yeah, I think so. You know, the first person that should go is Shadon Brown, the secondaries coach. That's been the obvious issue. Jordan Leslie, I think, like you're saying, it would be hard to fire him right now because who are you going to get at this point? Um, but, you know, he wasn't really qualified when he came to West Virginia in the first place. He had never been a defensive coordinator at any level. He was the defensive line coach at Troy, and so I just think these guys were, in over their head. I think they're good enough guys, and that they they have good intentions. I just think they're kind of in over their head. So I guess to answer your question, Joey, is if they lose to Kansas, I think you have to fire the whole staff. I don't know why you would bother waiting around at this point.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's a no-win situation at that point. You have to keep them around to the end of the year and then make a coaching change, or you might as well just go ahead and do it there. Bring in the interim to hold on to the players, and maybe the interim can become head coach. So I know you put out several articles about this. You like Jimbo Fisher.
Mhm.
Hmm.
You're a big fan of Jimbo Fisher coming to Morgantown. Hey,
Hmm.
so Jimbo Fisher, interim head coach to possibly become the head coach.
I think I would go with probably someone like Chad Scott. I would move him to interim head coach, and then hire Jimbo Fisher in the offseason is what I would probably do if I was Ren Baker.
Okay. I like Chad Scott. I think Chad Scott's one of the better coaches on the whole staff, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
I
And I
think
think
Chad
that would
Scott's a
keep the
fantastic coach.
and I think that would keep the team together too. Ultimately that's what you would be trying to do, is just get through the season.
If you have Jimbo
Yeah.
Fisher coming in there and you're on that roster,
Hmm.
you have to be excited. I mean, he has a ring within the past maybe 10 years. It was 10 years ago, right?
Hmm.
Right, 2014. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing about it is, it's a lot of people don't like Jimbo because of what happened at Texas A&M. But you got to remember something. He won a national championship at Florida State, and I hear a lot of people saying, "Well, that was with Bobby Bowden players." No, it wasn't. Bobby Bowden retired in 2009. He didn't win a national championship till 2014. Those were
Hmm.
Jimbo Fisher players. That was Jimbo Fisher recruited team, and he did that at Florida State. So, and we see
almost
where Florida
almost
State is today.
almost every narrative that I hear about Jimbo Fisher is completely off. What you just said about Florida State, I hear that all the time. I hear people say that he didn't do anything at Texas A&M. Well, he was 45 and 25 in SEC.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
that's a really, really good. He's 128 and 48 in his career, which is like a 73% win percentage. So I said this on Twitter the other day. You know, if you don't want Jimbo Fisher, I don't want to say you don't have a brain, but you might not have a brain if you don't want Jimbo Fisher at West Virginia.
Well, that winning percentage, Brad, would be a Hall of Fame for college basketball
Right.
coach rather than a football coach. Those are some fantastic numbers.
100%.
I do want to run out of here in the chat for a little bit. Sorry, guys, don't mean to neglect you out there. We have been kind of like putting your chats up on the screen, but I don't think we've been reading them. We appreciate you guys. Timothy Green, always, as always, for being here. Jackson Johnson, a great friend of the show. Appreciate you being here. Yvette, appreciate you being here. Of course, Yvette's my wife. Uh, uh, Russell, Woe, is that how you spell it? Woe. But I appreciate you being here. Sorry, I'm not reading the comments as they go down through. I'm just looking. Earth Eater, appreciate you being here as well. Now I want to go back and read this comment though. I got to find it again. Russell Rowe. I don't know how they are not coaching those defensive backs to be better. Yeah, is that going to be? That's going to be on the defensive backs coach. And exactly, if you fire Jordan Leslie, then the defensive backs coach becomes the defensive coordinator. So you don't want that. But, like I said, with the Kansas thing, you come in and just fire the whole staff except for maybe Chad Scott. But then where do you find a defensive coordinator? So you can't get rid of Jordan Leslie just yet. Will Jordan Leslie stay if you get rid of Neil Brown in a bye week? Think about that. So, we could be a dumpster fire for the rest of the year with Neil Brown, or we could be a dumpster fire the rest of the year with a backup staff that maybe
And I think
half of them leave.
and I think that's where Ren Baker's probably at. He's like, you know, I think we just need to get through this year,
Yeah.
and I'll take care of it next year or in the
Yep.
off season.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, we're talking like this, but hell, West Virginia could come out and win the Big 12 still, right? I mean, there's always that chance that they
Hmm.
find themselves and get together as a team. But let's be honest with ourselves. If we are going to be honest with ourselves, I was thinking about it today. The Big 12 was kind of weak last year. We went 8-4 and stuff, but the Big 12 was a little weak last year. It really was. So How good are we? I think we're pretty good. I think we're just as good as anybody else in the Big 12. I don't think we're Georgia good or Ohio State good right now. I don't. Penn State good, no. But I think we're a top 25 team. I think we can hold our own. I think we just need to show it this week. I think we've got to show up. And if we don't, then we might have lost. I said last week, Brad, if we lose the Pitt, we may lose the team. And
Hmm.
and I don't. We won't know till this week if we've lost this team, right?
Right. I mean, I've heard a lot of rumors that there's issues in the locker room already with, players having problems with the coaching. I don't know that that's necessarily true. But, when you're losing like this and the expectations were so high, obviously there's going to be a lot of frustration and a
Yeah.
lot of issues in the locker room.
Yeah, a lot of finger pointing,
Hmm.
and that's where we hope the West Virginia culture just finally sets in. That's where we hope somebody that's a past alumni, a Brian Josbiak, somebody that can just go in there and just say, "All right, boys, huddle up, listen to me," and get the team back together. Just somebody with a little bit of a that help build the program, help influence the program. Maybe a Don Leland coming in there and just talking to the team.
Hmm.
Get your head back in the game and get focused. I don't know, and I don't know what Neil Brown's going to do, but I don't know that Neil Brown can get this team back focused as the person they trusted to get them to where they are right now.
I
Brad, I
agree.
have a
And
question. I have
yeah,
a question for you.
yeah.
So, you know, in my opinion, I don't even think, even if they get to the Big 12 championship, if they lose, you still look for another coach.
I
What
think if
point?
they get I and I don't want Neil Brown back at all. So let me just preface it by saying that. But I think if they get to the Big 12 championship, I think it would be hard to fire him at that point.
Right, right, right.
Uh,
Where's the cutoff? That's what I'm trying to figure out in my mind.
I think it's the Big 12 championship. I
Or
think
bust. Yeah,
yeah, I think if they go man, if they go eight, I think if they win 8 games, I think they'll be okay. He'll be okay. But
yeah,
I'm looking down the schedule. I mean, I was really looking hard today for 4 or 5 wins. So
yeah.
I think it's
5 and 7.
unlikely. Yeah, 5 and 7 seems about right to me at the best.
I said at the beginning of the season, look, it wouldn't shock me a bit to be 8 games into the season and be 7-1, and it wouldn't shock me a bit to be 1-7 either.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
predicted the team to go 11-1. I had really high hopes for this year.
What was your record, Brad? I missed that. Sorry.
11-1.
11-1. Wow.
And I had them going 10-2 and maybe even 11-1, but I did have them going 10-2. I did have us losing the Penn State game. I said it before the game several times on shows. I did not think we had the team to beat Penn State. I don't think we're a top 10 team right now, but I do think we're a top 25 team, and we just didn't show it this last week. All we've got to do is change that narrative up and do something this week. And I'm going to be an excited Mountaineer fan. Am I cautiously optimistic? Absolutely. At this point, very cautiously optimistic. But I'm optimistic nonetheless that we can go out and prove something this week, and maybe go on and win the Big 12.
This is a good point, Earth Eater put in there. You need a big name. Just saying.
Yeah,
I agree.
one player I do not think will go anywhere, and that's just because he's bought into the culture so much. And I think Brad Smith will agree with me on this one. And I don't think Nico Marquez will go anywhere.
I hope not. I've been waiting to see Nico for well, how long has he been there? 3 years now. I'm really excited to see what he'll do. I think he's like I think he has something different. He's a winner. You saw that in high school, and I almost think if things don't change, and I'd hate for Garrett Green to go out like this at the end of his senior season, but I'd almost start playing Nico at some point.
Yeah, I would too. The problem is here's my thought on that. I don't think that Garrett Green is Garrett Green's fault. I think he's being coached wrong. I think he's dropping back. They're thinking he's Tom Brady sometimes or Geno Smith, and they're dropping him back there in the pocket to throw passes and not letting him scramble around. It's like they're containing him into the pocket. I don't think that's Garrett Green, and I don't know if that's Garrett Green in his own head or if that's the coaching. And unfortunately,
A little bit
like
of
you
both.
say, there's nobody asking the coaches these questions. This would be my first question to Neil Brown. Are you coaching Garrett Green to stay in the daggone pocket? Because if you are, stop it. Or is he in his own head? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah, I think he would say that he wants Garrett Green to go out and be Garrett Green, but I think Neil Brown's a little bit of a control freak, and I think he wants him in the pocket, like you said, and not improvising at all.
Yeah, I definitely think Neil Brown rolls his socks when he puts them in the nightstand.
He sure does.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
Brad, I know you had messaged me earlier and said you could only be in here about 20 to 30 minutes. It's been about 26 minutes. So I wanted to make sure with you, if you want to go on, you're welcome as always. But if you got to go, I understand that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun, guys. Thank you so much, Joey. I'd love to come back on again soon. I just got to get up early tomorrow morning.
Oh,
we
okay.
got it, Brad. Thanks. Nice meeting you, and thanks for coming on.
All right, guys. Hey, everybody, check out the Voice of Morgantown, WVU's #1 largest and most popular website. Thank you, guys.
Love it. Big fan.
That's right. That's right. I put the wrong logo. That's funny. I put the wrong logo just now. For some reason, I put up this one. Bama coaching question might
I
be
know.
either
It's like,
Real
what
Curry
the
or Gene
hell?
Solid. And then I had to go back to this one. It's funny though because I say that because I also hit the wrong intro. I don't know if anybody noticed that or not. But our intro, we have a crossover intro for this show, and I hit the wrong damn intro. I played the damn intro that we play on Saturdays during the pregame. So. Uh, but anyway, yeah. So I will do this if Shane, how long can you hang out tonight?
I'm here till 9:10, brother. You got me.
All right, good deal then. So I'm going to post a link in the chat. Listen, this just follow that link and you can come in here, talk to us. If you've never been in here before, it's real easy. Just follow that link. Create yourself a little username, and it's not you don't have to put your email or nothing like that in. It's nothing like that. You just
Nope.
come in there, and it's going to ask you your name. Type your name in. Check your mic settings. It's going to let you do that, and come on in, and let us know what you think about this game this week. About hey Brad Smith, the voice of Morgantown. Do you read his articles? Do you follow him?
Yes.
I'd like to know that as well.
Absolutely.
So because I know you either love him or hate him, and look, he's to you he's either the Wall Street Journal or he is the National Enquirer. I don't know which he is to you. That's what I'd like to know.
You know what? It's a blend of both. I think he's entertaining. He's thought. He induces thought. He makes you think. And he's just not blowing sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns up your butt. And I think that's what we get from the standard. You know, I love Tony Caridi, but they don't really get after it anymore. You know, they have good gigs. All these folks that are the talking heads at that sit in the press box at the games, they don't want to rock that boat. But here, we're going to rock that boat. I'm going to tell you as fans, okay, you need to calm down a little bit. But then again, I'm going to say, maybe it's time to move on. But guys, Joey had Coach on his show. He interviewed him this year. Just a few months ago, he had Neil Brown on, ask him questions. It's not like we're just sitting on an island. We do talk to these folks on occasion, people that are close to the program. But we're not so close that we're jaded, right, Joey?
Right, exactly. I guarantee you, I'm far from jaded. I'm not going to give you the WVU point of view. I'm going to give you my own damn point of view. And and like I say, I enjoy interviewing the coaches. I enjoy being able to contact WVU, and they give me that privilege and that honor of being able to interview the coaches and
Right.
talk to players and things like that. But at the same time, I think they know that I'm going to give my opinion. I'm never going to be that hard on WVU. I love WVU. I'm not going to be that hard on them. It's just not going to ever happen. And that's out of respect for the program. That's not out of respect for Neil Brown. That ain't out of respect for the media. That ain't out of respect for WU in general. It's out of respect of the whole thing since the 1800s when it all started. It's out of respect for that I'm not going to totally shit on our program. So we do have Jackson Johnson coming in here with us in the back. What do you say, Jackson?
How's it going, gents?
Hanging out, man, hanging out. Talking spit out here, trolling my chat, checking up on WU fans. Have y'all exploded yet? Laugh out loud. Just kidding. I know Talking Spit. Yeah, Talking Spit's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the better Pitt fans there is. Well, actually, he's probably the only Pitt fan there is, but
He's the
he
best
is one of
Pitt
the better ones. I know, but he's probably the only Pitt fan there is. No, I can take that back and tell you without a doubt, John Waffle is a Pitt fan too, but he's a complete arrogant ass. So I love him. I love him. He control you now, boy. He control you. He can get there and troll you like crazy. John Waffle can. I haven't seen John Waffle in a long time. So Talk Spit probably knows where he is. Jackson, what's going on, brother? So did you watch our interview there a little bit? We talking to the voice
I
of
watched a
MOTOWN.
little bit of it. I was flipping between a little bit of the show, telling everybody to tune in, flipping between the Michigan show and keeping an eye on this young man named Fluff Bogwell at South Alabama. He seems to be making some big plays tonight against App State. And I've been watching a little bit of the Patriots and Jets on Amazon Prime.
Well, now I'm not watching any college football games right now, so
Okay.
I need to bring
How's Aaron Rodgers doing?
He seems to be doing all right so far against the Patriots, but I mean, beating the Patriots is that's not the same as beating the Patriots with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. I mean, that's a rebuilding Patriots team.
Yeah.
wow, that is good. South Alabama 14, App State nothing. Wow, sounds interesting. Yeah, so because App State, I know that's a good program. So,
Oh yeah.
but now what quarter are they in? Is that early or
Second quarter?
Yeah, so it's early. I figure App State will win that game. App State's favored, right? They were
Yep.
favored pretty good too, weren't they?
Yeah, they call it App State, thinking a little more about Liberty than they were about South Alabama, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously there's a lot of momentum from that 87-10 victory over Northwestern State.
Well, hey Jackson, this week? What are some like 3 games that you're not going to miss? What games you just have them highlighted? You're looking
USC, Michigan, Tennessee, Oklahoma.
Hey, Jared, let me just point out to you, it's not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. Just get out. Anyway, so all right, Jackson, go ahead, buddy.
But yeah, I've got USC, Michigan, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and I'm going to break this rule and add 2 more: Utah, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, Kansas. I mean, I was talking about West Virginia, Kansas being a great game because, I mean, I get it. They're both 1 and 2. It's disastrous, right? But, I mean, they're technically still in playoff contention.
Yeah, that's right. That's what makes this playoff so great is if you lost 2 games, a couple years ago, you would be literally just, taking your West Virginia hat, throwing it in the dumpster and just burning it because you'd be so pissed. But there's still that glimmer of hope. It's like 2.0, and that's exactly what the title of the one, thumbnail is, West Virginia 2.0. It's a whole new chapter, coming up with an opportunity to make it to the playoff. If West Virginia makes the playoff, that gives Neil Brown a hall pass. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We won't even be talking about Pitt. Everybody will be so damn excited. Morgantown will be on fire with excitement. So,
yeah, but I mean, come on, that's being cautiously optimistic, though, right? I mean, because
True.
it's 1 game at a time, and we got a tough schedule. We got a really tough schedule, and we couldn't beat Pitt, and that scares me. We didn't look good against Albany. Now, we beat them like a drum, yeah, but guess what? They shredded our defense. They got more yards against us than any FBS program in history, I believe. So,
Oh yeah, because
or
I mean,
FCS program. Yeah.
well, and I will say West Virginia, if they're going to rebound, now's a good time because if they don't rebound this week, I'm not saying they can't do it in the month of October. I'm just saying it's going to be much tougher because you got a tough slate with Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Iowa State, and Arizona.
Yeah. I think Arizona's going to get better as the season goes on because it's a new coach. These kids are learning his way of balling, you know, and if they're competitive right now, just wait. They're going to be very, very good when we have to, go out there and play.
Here we are. We're all the way on Thursday night, so we all got to give our predictions on this game and our thoughts on this game. So, let me tell you my thoughts on this game right here. West Virginia and Kansas are two pretty evenly matched teams when you just look on paper at things, right? But I think when you get down into the depth of things, West Virginia is a little bit better in depth. I don't think Kansas is quite there yet. I mean, they're still recovering from 15 years of just being horrible, so they're still building. And I think the depth is where we win this game. I think West Virginia can win this game in the fourth quarter. Now, here's the problem. The biggest factor in this game is coaching. So, Lance Leipold versus Neil Brown. Every bit of my money would go on Lance Leipold right at this point. Every last dime I have.
Mm-hmm.
So, this game is such a complete toss-up for me because I think West Virginia is a much better team.
Yeah.
Problem is, Lance Leipold is just that much better of a coach. So, I'm sorry. I think I'm going to take Kansas here in a small victory. And I hate to say that, and I hope like hell West Virginia comes out and stomps their ass. But I just think coaching plays a major part in this game, and Lance Leipold is the better coach.
Well, Joey, I was thinking exactly what I was picking up what you're putting down. I was thinking that, but then I thought, you know what? My show Tuesday was all about positivity. So I'm taking West Virginia by 3, 31-28.
For right now, I feel like Kansas will win in Morgantown again, 31-28. That's where I'm going right now with Jalen Daniels. And Joey, you mentioned that Garrett Green's not being utilized correctly by Neil Brown, and that's basically what made me think about going with Kansas was, that little thing right there was, and it's very big. And I'm hoping Garrett Green is utilized correctly on Saturday, but I'm not counting on it as of right now. But
as of right now, West Virginia's defense is 120th in the nation.
Oh God,
120th out of 134 teams, guys. 120th defense.
They can't stop a sneeze.
Right. So the only team that's in the Power 5, there's 2 teams in the Power 5 that are worse than us. One of them is Wake Forest. Okay, so that's Wake Forest. The only other one is actually another Big 12 team, and that's Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's 129th, and we're 120th. So, look, when Oklahoma State and West Virginia play each other, it should be a really good matchup because neither one's going to play defense.
Barn burner.
But that scares me this week because Kansas can play a little bit of defense, and West Virginia has already proven they can't stop anybody in the secondary. We have to have pressure from the guys up front. And I think Kansas might be a little bit more physical up front than even Pittsburgh was. So it kind of scares me because I think Kansas has a better offensive line up front. Last week, we got a lot of tackles for loss, and we had a lot of pressure on the quarterback. We got 5 sacks. We had great defense last week until the last few minutes of the game. That scares me this week, though, because I think Kansas might be a little bit better up front than Pitt was. So I don't think we get that kind of pressure and get those tackles for loss like we did last week. So our secondary is going to be on display this week. They better have improved quite a bit. Is all I can say.
Yeah.
Well, and let's not forget, and I know that Kansas, West Virginia are low right now at 1-2, but don't forget Penn State 2016, 2-2 after the end of September. We know what happened in 2016. Utah 1-2 in September 2021. Down and out. They're out of playoff contention, but somebody forgot to tell them that they could still win the Pac-12. Well, somebody forgot to tell them they couldn't because they were like, "Oh, we're going to win this thing." That's still at stake.
Yeah.
And now you're still a playoff contender at 1-2 because of a 12-team playoff.
That's right. So there's still a chance.
Yeah, you are. Because you can still win your conference. We haven't played the first conference game yet. Well, a few teams have, but not very many have. Some of the games in the Big 12 that you thought were conference games were not conference games. Yeah. So, like Kansas State and Arizona was not a conference game. Actually, does not count against either team at all. So, now here's that's the great thing about this. The bad thing about this is you pretty much know where you are as a team right now, especially if you're West Virginia. You play 2 Power 5 programs and an FCS program. You didn't look good in any of the 3 games, to be honest with you, especially the secondary. The secondary got shredded in all 3 games. What now? Now we're going into Big 12 play. Guess what Big 12 does? Big 12 throws the ball. You've got a bad secondary, and all of a sudden you're going into the Big 12 where they throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State's a running team. They're in the Big 10. They throw the ball occasionally, but they're not throwing 30 passes a game. They're throwing 15 to 16 passes a game. All right. Now we're going into the Big 12 where they throw 30 passes a game.
Oh yeah.
So we have to we've got to shore up that secondary, and I'm sorry, I just don't have any faith whatsoever in our defensive coach, whether it be Jordan Leslie or our defensive backs coach in what's his name, Washington, or is that his name? Jimmy, because I can't remember his name. But anyway, I have no faith in them guys whatsoever right now. So sorry, I can't take West Virginia winning this game, even in Morgantown.
So I don't think let's go back. If they lose, it's going to be mayhem, and the media, like Brad said, will probably be asking him throwing softball questions at Neil Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Does he come out and do the same spiel? Hey, that was a good Kansas team. We weren't prepared. What do you expect from Neil after the loss?
Yeah, I don't know. Now, I don't agree with the narrative of last week that people were saying, well, he's just throwing the team under the bus. He's not taking accountability and stuff. He's just saying we didn't play well, and that's just throwing the team under the bus and stuff. I don't agree with that. I think Neil Brown's taking some accountability for what's going on. Problem is he's not doing any damn thing about it.
Yeah, he always says we need to do better. But what are you doing, Neil Brown?
Exactly.
We need to do better. I don't know what else you can do better. Tell me what. Quantify that. What are you going to do better?
Right. Earthender says there'll be couches thrown on the field on fire if we lose Saturday. Yeah. Well, I'm hoping we throw them on the field on fire because we won. Hey, I love my tradition of burning the couch when we have big wins.
Yeah. I do too.
We've had some big wins in our days. I think I burnt 3 couches when we beat Clemson. I think I had to go shopping the next day.
Well, that was definitely couch worthy, but there have been some wins. Maybe a win over Rutgers. It's futon worthy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a few wins that are futon worthy, but only a very few that are couch worthy. And we've had 2 of them this year that would have been couch worthy, and we lost them.
Well, I think Kansas win would be love seat worthy. Not quite couch worthy because they're 1-2. So.
Yeah, it might be Kansas win might be Grandpa's chair worthy. You know, just burn grandpa's chair.
That's great.
That's funny.
That's what I can do. Look, we should beat Kansas. Like I said, it looks like on paper we're a better team and things, but at the same time, gosh, that coaching, Lance Leipold's just such a good coach, and I look when you've got two teams that are pretty evenly matched up like this, you have to go with a better coach.
I feel like Kansas, West Virginia. Yeah, and I know that a lot of people have been poo-pooing on this game because they're 1-2. It feels like you're looking at a stock investment that everybody's laughing at you for investing, but in the
GameStop.
long term, you're benefiting from it. Like investing in GameStop, people laugh at you about it. They're like, "Why the hell would you invest in this?" But then January to February 2021. You're a genius. And all those people that told you what a dumbass you were are the same people that are like, I always knew you had some genius in you.
Yeah, I think you have to look at it this way. I think you have to look at it this way, Jackson. There's a lot in this game right here. Kansas wins this game. All right, now all of a sudden they start the Big 12 off with a win. West Virginia wins this game. Now all of a sudden West Virginia starts the Big 12 off with a win. Neither team has set the world on fire so far. This is a huge momentum game.
Yeah.
And the winner
absolutely.
of this game, has got huge momentum, and the loser is probably done for. I mean, seriously, there's no way you're going to pull it together if you lose
Yeah,
this
you're
game.
not.
Nobody's
If
going to
you're
start
Neil
1 and
Brown,
3.
you're not coming back from this. I think Lance Leopold can come back from this, but Neil Brown can't. So I think for West Virginia, it's a bigger. Oh yeah, we give John. Okay, look at this. We definitely give Pitt credit. They played with their ass on fire for the last 4 or 5 minutes and beat West Virginia.
I'm glad you came in here, John Waffle. I was just talking
Yeah.
about you, but I do appreciate you being here, John Waffle. You know,
Yeah.
I always appreciate you. Look, you are probably the biggest pit troll I know, but at the same time, you don't get disrespectful. You do get disrespectful, but not to the extent of I'm going to put you out. You just you're
You
you're
toe the
just
line. We like
you're
that.
just a eat shit pit fan, and and that's
No, John.
not how it is.
It's just it's now Thursday. Wednesday we talked a little bit about Pitt, but we didn't want to talk too much about it. And I actually went on a radio show on Tuesday. Ralph Williams has a radio show, and I went on it and talked about how what Pitt did to win. So I'm giving you guys credit where it's due, and you won.
So Earth Eater says obviously Pitt beat a weak WU team. I don't agree with that. I don't think
That's
a
a
weak
backhanded
WU team.
compliment, right?
Yeah. But you're right, Earth Eater, when you said this. This is in ways as big as a Pitt game because it sets a trend. It does.
Right.
Look, we got to win this game. We've got to. We lose this game. There's no way we're going to be sitting here in late November being all happy about this team. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. We need to win this game, and not just this. I'm going to say this after the bye week too. When that game comes up, we need to win that game too, and we need to win the next game and the next game. Right?
You need to win
we
the
got a bye week
too.
this week. We've got to win this game, get into the bye week with a win, have momentum, and then hit our tough ass Big 12 schedule. You're talking about Oklahoma State and Arizona. We got to play Iowa State. Iowa State, by the way, guys, they look pretty damn good. So you better watch out. We said this at the beginning of the year, did we not, saying that they were our dark horse. They were our dark horse to win the Big 12.
Right. And look what they did against Iowa. I mean,
yeah.
We talked about that. We looked back at the past two previous games where it was anyone could have won. It was 17-14 and 1970, whatever it was, those 2 years. And of course, it was the same typical score. They won by 1 point. Guys, that Iowa team has grit, and that's what West Virginia needs: grit.
Oh, I get you, Earth Ender. I get you, Earth Ender. He says I was just playing with John Wapple. Oh, okay. He was trolling him back, and I just read the comment. My bad, Earth Eater. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Shane.
They go to a bowl. So Pitt goes from 3-9 to 6-6 and goes to a bowl.
I think this Pitt team's gonna go 6-6. They're gonna do a lot better than that.
Has anybody watched any ACC games this year? They're trash. There's nobody in the
It's a
ACC
weak-
that's any good
it's a
other
weak
than
ACC
Miami.
year, yeah.
Other than Miami.
Oh. Does
Miami
Pitt
is
play
it.
Miami? Does Pitt play Miami this year, boys?
No.
No, I don't think
In
so.
the championship, maybe.
In the championship, that's what Talkers Pitt. I think it was Talkers Pitt told me that he felt like it'd be Miami and Pitt in a championship game at the end of the year. I didn't believe him at the time. I might start believing him now because the ACC looks really weak, and let's face it, Pitt beat a pretty good West Virginia team. So they very well could be in the championship game at the end of the year in the ACC. So yeah, this Pitt team could be a playoff team, right? I heard somebody say it's a playoff team, and I was like, "You're crazier than hell." No, I don't think they're a playoff team, but yeah, they could legitimately be a playoff team if Miami has a bad game when they play in a championship game. Should Pitt win out, and I think they will be one of the top players.
If I'm a road team, I'd hate to go to Pitt because dreams go to die over there. They always do.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
pretty
a tough
tough.
field. It's a tough
They're
field
pretty
to kick,
tough.
and kick field goals at. It's just a tough place to play because of the wind. And the later it is in the season, the worse it is. You play there in Thanksgiving, November timeframe. Forget about it. Oh, here we go, boys.
All right, what are you bringing up here, Jackson?
Oh, I got the Kansas schedule. So if they lose this game against West Virginia, they'll have an easier time to rebound. TCU is nowhere near where they were in Sonny Dykes' first year in 2022.
Right.
Although Arizona State, they may not be where they were with Brock Osweiler at the tail end of 2010 or where they were 2007, but they look pretty exciting, and I think we're going to learn a little more about them after Texas Tech this Saturday. Houston's pretty sloppy, but they have that weird losing streak against Kansas State where they haven't beaten them since 2008.
Yep.
Yeah, they won't beat them this year either.
Not too many people are going to beat Kansas State this year.
No. They won't beat Iowa State either. You can forget that one. BYU's not looking too bad. I'll have to rate that game later on at a time.
Somewhat.
Right now, but say it's going to be a really good matchup. But BYU,
BYU. That's all I could tell people because that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, BYU. I was wondering if the athletic department can order adult size hats for that coach because I don't understand. He always wears the tiniest little hats on his head.
So here's basically what Jackson's saying, and he's right. Scroll back up there, Jackson. So Kansas is playing West Virginia this week, and then they got to play TCU and Arizona State, two teams that are a lot easier than the next two teams that West Virginia faces. So they've got to be full force one game, and then they get to not cruise, but they're not going to have as tough of matchups the next couple of weeks. Whereas West Virginia facing Kansas. Now, then we get a bye week, but we come back and, hey, Shane, tell everybody who we play because it's not a good one, is it?
Alabama?
No. No.
I'm joking.
No, so we have the Oklahoma State game.
Cowboys. Yeah, I know. Might as well be Alabama.
Right. So
Mike Gundy, man, he's gonna tear us a new one this year. Just feel it.
Yeah. So I think that we really need to win this game. I mean, we really do. This is a big game because we got a bye week after it. It'd be great to go into bye week with momentum and then come out and travel to Oklahoma State and get out of there with a victory against a trashier defense than ours. All right, they're like 129th, 130th in the country. We're 120th, so it's not going to be no defense in that game. And hopefully, Jaheim White and C.J. Donaldson can put it on for Oklahoma State. And
I want to ask you guys: Would from October 5th to October 25th, those 4 games, If you go 2-2, are you happy? I am.
From October 5th
So
to what?
that between the buys, Oklahoma State to Arizona, that 4-game stretch. If West Virginia splits those, I would be happy. If they
So you're saying
beat
2 and
Arizona,
2. So
yeah,
you're saying
2 and
2 and
2.
2. But what about the Kansas game this week? You got to include that.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, if West Virginia beats Kansas and going 500 in October is possible.
So right, yeah. If they beat Kansas and then Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Kansas State, and Arizona are split 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, I think West Virginia can be sitting in a pretty good seat at that point for a decent bowl game and a decent season. Now they're not going to win the Big 12, obviously.
No.
But a decent bowl game and a decent season at that point. Right, because we would have had 4 losses exactly like we had last year. And then after the Arizona game, like you're talking about, we got Cincinnati, Baylor, UCF, and Texas Tech. All 4 of those are very, very winnable games. Not saying they're going to be easy, but they're winnable. UCF, hey, look, we walked all over UCF last year in the bounce house. They're coming to Morgan. So I really feel like our toughest game would be Texas Tech, going down to Texas Tech. That's a tough place to play. But we need to win. We need to win this game Saturday, and then then that can open
feel
up.
like Texas Tech has kind of just ridden the coattails of the Mike Leach era, and it's getting to a point where like nobody's really thinking about Mike Leach at Texas Tech. They're thinking of Mike Leach at Texas Tech, Washington State, Mississippi State as oh, well, he was the famous head coach of the air raid and this, that, and the other, right? Texas Tech is going to get close to where there's a generation. They're like, who was that guy again? Yeah, because like if it weren't for Mike Leach, I feel like Texas Tech would be where Oregon State, Washington State is. And
yeah, boys. If I'll tell you what though, if they lose all 4 of those games in October, it doesn't matter how good they finish the season.
Brown's fired.
Saturday, December 7th, they're holding a press conference, and Brown's giving his papers.
That's why I said this earlier. If we lose to Kansas this week, what's the juice in holding on to this coaching staff? Because there's nowhere to go. Absolutely nowhere. So you might as well go ahead and make a change. And I know the only thing that would hold him there would be the money. It's like $11 million buyout at the end of the year, and it's like $20 million right now. So but here's the problem: you got to pay him anyway. Mm-hmm. You got to pay him his salary, so it's only going to be a couple million more to go ahead and try to get your program turned around and bring in an interim head coach that could possibly become a head coach and stuff.
Well, you can't step over dollars for cents, especially in the climate we're at with conference realignment, where if your program becomes even more devalued with just not being good, you don't want your stock to fall anymore. I agree with
that.
Yeah.
So I think without a doubt Neil Brown will last the rest of the season. I'm just posing the question: what is there to gain with him being there if we lose to Kansas? There's absolutely nothing to gain from that point with him being there, in my opinion. There's nothing to gain with Jordan Leslie, as far as I'm concerned, after the Penn State game. After games last year, there was no need in keeping Jordan Leslie. But here we are back in this year. There's still no need in keeping Jordan Leslie. There's no need in keeping that defensive backs coach, whatever the hell, Washington or whatever the hell his name is. No. It's time to move on from these guys. And Neil Brown, the problem is, hey, they're my buddies. They're my friends. Can't be
like that.
And yeah, exactly. You can't. And he hired his buddies. He hired his friends. Just like Brad Smith was talking earlier. He had no coaching experience. Jordan Leslie had never led a defense at any level. And here he is at Western University, a Power 5 level, leading a defense. And that's because he's Neil Brown's friend.
Yeah,
you got to go away from that.
I've seen coaches and I've seen plenty of business people do that, and it's bitten them in the ass. Oh, well,
It's
that's my
clubhouse.
family.
Clubhouse. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my family. That's my best friend from back in the day in 4th grade. And
Yeah.
you can't do that. If you're going to hire someone, you got to take emotion out of it. You got to take out back in the day, everything out of it. You got to think, is this person good at this job? Or are they the right candidate? Are they the right fit? Not, oh, I got so many memories from this with this guy where we smoked weed at 16. You can't do that.
You Neil Brown smoking weed. Oh wow. I don't know. I
Bag of balls.
He's too much
I
of a
couldn't
hard
see
ass
Neil.
to be
I
doing
couldn't
that.
see Neil Brown and Jordan Leslie sitting around smoking a big doobie. I mean, I really couldn't. I could not see it at all. I mean, I have a hard time seeing him too sitting around drinking a beer. To be honest with you.
No. He's too much of a hard ass to be doing either one of those things.
Anyway, listen, guys, we appreciate everybody being here tonight. Jackson Johnson, appreciate you coming in with me. Shane, you got a show upcoming here in just a few minutes. Tell everybody what you're doing.
Mountaineer Mafia, West Virginia Mountaineer Mafia. If you want to just keep this conversation going on, we're going to talk about West Virginia 2.0. Either way, with Neil Brown, winning a couple games or them losing, it's going to be different. We're going to have a different product on the field. So let's talk about it.
Also, be sure and check out Mayhem Matthew podcast. Jackson put that up there. Appreciate you, Jackson. SEC Week 4 football predictions and key narratives. If you're an SEC fan or you're a Georgia fan, be sure and check out Mayhem Matthew. Mayhem Matthew does a great job over there. All right, guys, we appreciate everyone being here. Everyone have a great night. We will see you tomorrow night.